for all of y'all who are starting or hopefully already pursuing ACCA, sometimes y'all are confused about the best study material to start studying from. So today we will break down the study material that exists globally for ACCA as well as what we do for our students here at Zell. So first of all, in ACCA, when you study one particular subject, right? So there are 13 subjects. You take any of the subjects and you have to think of the minimum requirement as having something known as a textbook or a study text, which has all the concepts that you're being introduced to with examples and things like that. And there is something known as an exam kit or a revision kit or a question bank, which has hundreds of questions for you to practice, the kind of questions that will come in the exam or past questions from these exams, which will help you realize what kind of exam you're headed towards, which will help you cement all the theoretical understandings from your study text. So let me get into the details of the publishers. So one important thing about the ACCA books is that the syllabus from the body's perspective is updated year on year. Now there are some subjects like financial management which might not change every year literally. However, there would be minute changes right from the content of the theory to examples as well as questions. And then there are certain subjects like taxation which you have to always look out for the most updated version of these subjects. Now when it comes to publishers, ACCA globally has two publishers. One is called BPP and the other is Kaplan. There used to be a third one called Becker in the past, but Becker is no more. Becker is now more for CPA and the like. For ACCA, it's BPP and Kaplan. Now, BPP, the language and the in-depthness of the concepts is more, so the language is more complex, more professional rather, and BPP goes more in-depth with respect to each of the, even the questions are actually, a little more complex in the BPP version. For the Kaplan version, the language is student-friendly, it's easy to study, but then it's relatively vast because you're trying to explain certain concepts in simple language. And the questions also, the examples mentioned in it are relatively easy to read, but then you have to do multiple of those so that you get the hang of it. At the end of the day, whether you use BPP or Kaplan, as long as the input effort is enough, you will pass both. It's not like one is better than the other. Still, if you go in depth, there are two ways to look at it. One, if you're used to only one by yourself, you're only used to BPP, for example, over time, you'll only prefer BPP. However, if you use both in the beginning, you will see that there are individuals who have opinions subject by subject. For example, some will say that for the audit subject, Kaplan is better than BPP, whereas for financial reporting, BPP is better. So because of these varied choices, my suggestion to y'all is if y'all do not know which one to use, it doesn't matter, pick any one and you'll be able to clear the exam as long as you put in the time and energy behind it. Just to give y'all an understanding, for Zell, what we started doing over the last few quarters is we've devised our own notes based on our complete understanding of ACCA. As many of you all must have already known, we've reached the platinum status in the recent past, giving us an even better understanding of what students across India require to pass these exams. I have here the kind of notes that we have now of Zell, where we've also split it into the study text and the exam kit. We've done it for all the subjects, and what we've tried to do is, number one, we've tried to make the language even more relatable for our students. Number two, the examples, we've tried to make sure that we use examples which are not just basic, we try to give real life case studies, whether it's Indian, where we talk about, obviously the Reliances and the Tatas, which everybody use, but we also talk about brands like Swiggy and Zomato and Flipkart and Amazon, Uber and Ola, the kind of things that people like us understand so that we can relate all these finance and accounting concepts to brands that we are aware about and, make that relation, make that ease of transition from having no idea about what a concept is and connecting it to known companies or known brands that we do. So one of our approaches are that when you're learning something new, right, your ACCA is also new for you and the subject is also new for you, which means the way you study for ACCA, how the questions are asked, how do you have to approach the studying aspect, that is new for you, as well as a different subject altogether. When two unknowns are combined, it's difficult to learn. So what we try to do is while the learning aspect is new, our the ideas, the case studies, the brands, the companies we speak about as examples are what is known. So we combine one known and one unknown, and we use the known understanding of yours to basically convert the unknown again into known. It's really working well for our students, and as long as you guys are, most importantly, putting, if I split your time, putting 40% of your effort in the study text and 60% in the exam kit, which means you're practicing the exam kit, you're practicing questions, you're practicing past papers, you will do fine. For anybody who, for whatever reason, you do not have the exam kit, remember that on the ACCA website, you do have the past papers, which are again a must do if you for whatever reason, you're not following any of these study materials that we speak about. You can use the past papers, mock exams, appear for the mock exam multiple times before you go for the real exam. Again, the chances of you passing the exams go through the roof. So with that said, do let us know if there's anything else you'd like us to make videos on, and we'll be happy to help.